You are watching the Pan-African Daily TV with Dr. Susan Tata. The Africa we want: unity, consciousness, our culture, our spirituality, our history. One Africa for Africans worldwide. Motherland's calling its diaspora home. Join my voice. Join my team. Join my campaign. Campaign 21 hashtag 1 million subscribers on the Pan-African Daily TV YouTube. Be a volunteer. Apply now. Be the new Africa.
Greetings to all of you. Greetings to you, my people. It is breaking. It is rainy in Kenya, and we cannot stay quiet on the latest happenings that are unfolding. So we're just getting a lot of good news coming there. Our correspondent from Kenya, Patrick Kasarim, just posted now. It's not even up to 30 minutes. Need the internet back so you can see me, right? And please drop a comment drop your opinion, your thoughts. What do you think about it in the comment section, and I'll be able to bring it live. Can you all hear me? Because I see the microphone is kind of like tripping. Can you hear me? Is the sound audible? Thank you, Mr. Brown. You see, we're going to be the people up now because the rest of the diaspora is asleep, in some countries right away. But it is breaking in Kenya, and there's been a lot going on in the past days concerning the finance bill, the financial bill for 2024. And we've actually been following up this story with a lot of enthusiasms, even though we have some casualties that came out from Kenya. At the end of the day, we're beginning to see a very good proactive, president who is listening now. I mean, in a couple of days, he was like, what Kenyans describe, or Africans who were following up those stories, describe as rude and arrogant, right? President whom everybody, vetoed, the hustlers. He was called the hustler president. And now out of a sudden, he's just been despicable, as we can say. So as a matter of fact, Kenyans were out on the streets and they expressed their anger. And the best things they are saying is, we are fixing our country. We are fixing Kenya for the Kenya that we want. And Africans worldwide are like, yes, exactly. This is how all other countries should react. We are fixing the Kenya we want. And so Kenyans are expressing themselves, from celebrities to just normal people, from the youth on the street to even the ones in the diaspora. Now it's really getting trendy, like every other African countries, and the other youths now are now mobilizing in Nigeria, mobilizing across Africa, and saying, yes, if we fix Kenya, then we're gonna fix Africa. So I'm really, really happy. But like I said a couple of minutes ago, a new news topic dropped on on Pan African Daily TV, and it reads: breaking, Kenya's President, Excellency William Ruto, bows to pressure, rejects and withdraws the controversial Finance Bill 2024 after nationwide protests by young people against overtaxation. Okay, the people have spoken, haven't reflected on the continuing conversation about Finance Bill 2024. I concede, and I will not sign the 2024 Finance Bill and will subsequently be withdrawn. Ruto has also directed immediate operation budget cuts for the presidency. Entire executive recommends judiciary, parliamentary, and county governments to follow suit. So yes, this is what we are getting from Kenya this afternoon. Like I said, I have to come live afternoon to break this news. It's raining out here in West Africa, Cameroon, like cats and dogs. I'm telling you. I mean, Yaoundé, Douala, and other provinces. So I thought I should come earlier because we might not have internet due to the too much rain or electricity cut. So it was very necessary for us to follow up this news and hear what Kenyans are telling us there, if the situation is okay or not. But presiding this statement as written by Kasarim, it's also, we just received an official an official words from His Excellency William Ruto outlining the situation on the ground. I mean, it's official. We can write other statement. We can, talk about things that we hear or we know on newspaper. But this is an official document from His Excellency himself, and I want us to take a look at it. Oh my God, Wachira, for us, Kenya is simply freedom or death. Of course, that's what Kenyans are saying, and that's what Africans are saying. Like, it never should happen in the 21st century, in this time when Africans are awoke. No, people would have to, whether the leaders or partners of Africa would have a long way to go with this generation. But on the other side, we also saw just this week the troops to Haiti have been evacuated, like they already on the way or landed already in Haiti. We don't know. So these are two controversial phase of the Kenyan constitution and the government out there. A financial bill came up which Kenyans consider controversial, and they went on the street. Some lost lives, some are imprisoned, and some wounded. And now, at the same time, we saw a bill that was also challenged in Kenya's court, refusing for the Kenyan police or the army or the military to intervene in the cause of Haiti. We already interviewed an expert here that was following up that petition and others, like it was really a constitutional case. But right now, we are seeing another scenario. So, I mean, Kenyans and Africans are beginning to really question this government and say, this is really the government and the system that we wanted, that we thought is going to come, bring a change, that will listen to the voices of the young people. And of course, a lot of Kenyans were actually on the point that this is the president we need because he understands the situation. I mean, he's been a hustler, he's an economist, he's a very intelligent a president. He's a PhD, and knows about world economics, global economics, taxation, law, and all that. How come this is going to go up like that? So that is the reason why we on Pan African Daily, we know if we don't give a platform and voices to our people worldwide, I don't think any conservative media is interested in whether this the Kenyans I don't know, doing what to each other. That will not be of interest except there is actually a value that is added. But for us on Pan African Daily, we are for voices of the voiceless. I mean, we tell you the situation as it is on the ground. We also bring you the reaction from the leadership. Like I said, His Excellency just posted, and we have the documents because we went on it and they sent it a copy. We have it for us to share with you to understand the steps that actually have been taken by the government, which to us is a very responsible step. Regardless of what happened, Kenyans have spoken, just like they spoke when they went to the polls, and we reported here. And Pan African Daily was actually following, and we were clapping and jubilating and actually saying this is a time where we need change, where we need new energies, where we need new leaders with different kind of agendas. So it is just but normal that if it doesn't go right, it doesn't sit right with the people of Kenya, it doesn't sit right, particularly the youth, it doesn't sit right with the youth on the continent and abroad. It's just but normal that we have to come back here and report to you how it is going. It's the same thing we're touching on the case of Senegal's president, whom was visiting France, and Africans are like, hey, wait, what is happening right here? What is going on? Right? And we talked about it. We had an expert on that topic. We're also going to get an expert on this topic from Kenya. But I just see from the way the president has reacted, I think that's a very good step that he took, not just to ignore. But before he did that, Africans are like, oh my God, he would not have if we didn't call him to order, if we did not call really this president to order, he would not. But you see, I love that spirit of the engagement on Pan African Daily TV Facebook page, right? I mean, the engagement on the comments, be it pro or not, Africans are busy on this topic. That's what is very important. Whatever thing is happening in our countries, when we just go docile and dormant as if our brains are dead, that's how the economy looks like too. But when you have an active, energetic, youth, particularly youth, that stand up when the president or the leadership makes a mistake. So it's fixing the system. I mean, I really truly agree with Kenyans when they say we're fixing our country. We're not going to see it as a negative impact. We're not going to see they didn't. I mean, some cases of destruction at the parliament or fire came out. That's when the police had to intervene, or before. Whatever the case is, Kenyans have proven that they are able. Youths of Kenya have said never. It's not just any other youth of any country. They can say it or they murmur it in their bars and they just grumble, they disgruntle and they begin to post negative things about their countries or about their leadership on social media. No, Kenyans are saying we've got to face it. We will fix our country the way we want it, in a way that the leadership is taking responsibility, but the youth are taking responsibility as well to fix that Kenya that we all want. So of course, people are waking up. People are waking up. Yeah. So I mean, we know, like Shepsu Napata is saying, "Hey, Elder," he said, "Burkina Faso shows us that we can fix Africa." Okay, I have to flip up this comment here before, we're really going to keep this broadcast for today very short. I think we can really do like 30-45 minutes because I have to read this statement of His Excellency to you. But I'm just kind of like getting your comments. If you have a comment to share, don't worry, you can be anonymous. If you don't want me to flag your comment, when I see the comments that I need to bring on, I just know. Our brother Nepata is saying Burkina Faso shows us that we can fix Africa. Wake up, my people, wake up. Let's give but a new dawn, the new Africa. So yes, of course, we're seeing that. We're seeing that. We're seeing that. We're seeing that. We're very happy. We're very proud of you, Kenyans. Our brother Foko Ali said we need to focus on us doing for self from the grassroots, from the grassroots level up. Of course, like we're doing the bottom top strategy. It means this is how you know a country is engaged. A country that is economically stable, that's how they behave. That's how they behave. Like the youth are involved, the elders are involved, the leadership is involved. The country is doing something beautiful, something better. Okay. It's not like just grumble and begin to spill bad things about your leader. No, you correct them. You correct them. You tell them, no, we don't want you. Organize yourself and process peacefully, addressing your needs. If the Kenyan youth did not go on the street, if they did not continue, and we know another protest had been slated for Tuesday, had the president not reacted, other protests were already scheduled. Okay, so it is enough. It is very enough. We know that the country needs money. Of course, financing the economy of Kenya is also not a walk in the park. But I think the youth are expressing themselves to, like, if you put a tax bill on bread is life, and you put a tax bill on sanitary part, hygienic, sanitary part, everybody understand what that is, then something has to be a problem there. And they did not find it. Not that Kenyans are not saying that they're not going to increase taxes or the tax bills will not change, but I think the level and the kind of products that were taxed was what actually annoyed the Kenyan young people and the young women, and say, hey, come on, wait a minute, how are we going to figure this out? Okay, those are some of the needs that they would never even tax it in any country. They would reduce the tax on that need. But I think economically, Kenya sees the higher consumption in these products makes it lucrative to tax. But of course, we do know that most of the people that are buying these products, or the tax bill actually was not favorable for struggling Kenyans. I mean, who are those? What is the class of the people that use sanitary pads? You can already imagine, and then what is the price of the people that buy bread? I mean, some rich to do people don't buy bread. They don't. So it's the common person that lives on bread every day. So if the bill is not economically favorable to the people of Kenya, to the sector, which is the most marginalized sector, I mean, you couldn't expect something else. All right. So that's a very big move. We say kudos to our youth in Kenya. We say we thank you so much. I mean, we're so proud of you, and that's how it has to be in every country. Not to go against the system, to be for the system in a kind of a cordial working relationship. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. I think most presidents that are awake and they want the good of their people, they love it. And that's why they give you permits to actually express yourself in this kind of a way. So yes, we thank you. We thank you, Kenya, for showing us the example. The Africans and African youths are so proud of Kenya. Mike said, interestingly enough, this finance bill came about as soon as President came back from his visit to the US. Okay, Mike. Yeah, I don't know whether that's a coincidence as well, too. Yeah, I mean, people, you have a right to your thoughts and your opinion, and I thank you for sharing that because that's what happens. That's what happens. Okay, Kenyans are questioning how could it happen that it's only when you're coming back and we start seeing this kind of controversies in our economy. So Akieli saying peace and blessings to us. Thank you, my brother. All right, let me just go straight and we read the statement from His Excellency because it's not enough to paraphrase it. It's not enough to paraphrase it. We have to break it down the way it is so Africans can see it, they can read it, they can look it up for themselves. So I have to push out the screen so we can be able to see something much better. As you can see, it is today, June 26th, 2025, 2024, State House, Nairobi, today. We're talking about something today. And you look at a statement by His Excellency William Ruto, CGH, PhD, President and Commander-in-Chief of the Kenya Defense Forces on the Finance Bill 2024. Very clear, very articulative, and that is it. Point one, His Excellency writes, when we assumed office 20 months ago, our country was facing tremendous economic challenges, escalating the cost of essential household commodities, high fuel prices, rapid depreciation of the shilling, and spiraling public debts were threatening to ground the economy. Okay? So, His Excellency is saying when we assume office 20 months ago, it means these things that he's talking about is before they came. So this was like a problem that was inherited of the past regime or the past government. And he's like, when we assumed office 20 months ago, our country was facing tremendous economic challenges. So according to his presidency, all this high fuel and depreciation of the currency and which those are factors that were already threatening the economic of Kenya before he became president. Point two says, my administration has worked hard and consistently so that today the prices of essential commodities like unga have dropped from an average of Kenyan shillings 240 for a 2-kilo packet to Kenyan shilling 100, majorly attributed to our fertilizer subsidy program and the resilience of our farmers. During the period, we reduced the price of fertilizers from Kenya shilling 7,500 to 2,500. Petrol prices have come down from a high 217 to 189 a liter. The shilling has strengthened against the American dollars from a high of Kenyan shillings 165 to 129 today. These are the points in which he's breaking the differences of how they met it, the mess that they got in, and how they have solved the problem within 20 months to be able to adequately. Kenyans, your country, and you could be able to access this for yourself to understand the president, to see if this is true or not. We have made significant progress in pulling the nation back from the brink of debt distress. Our debt situation is better managed, and our budget now has space for investment in programs aimed at easing the hardship on vulnerable people and creating opportunities for the youth. Okay? Point number 4 says our GDP grew by 5.6% in 2023, ranking Kenya among the 27 fastest growing economies in the world. Our nation figures have fallen from 8% in May 2023 to 5% in April this year. That's the inflation figures, okay? Out of every Kenyan shilling 100, we have been spending 61 shillings in debt services. Okay, so get it straight. I mean, of course, I'm breaking it down, but if you want to get it, I can forward it. You know, if you text us or email us, we can forward it to you. So you can also have a document. Now we're dealing with documents, okay, and proofs, not just talking. So he's saying every Kenyan shilling, I mean, let's say 100 shilling that came into the economy, 61 shillings in debt service. So as a matter of fact, what was left was 39 shilling that goes into the economy. So every 100 shilling, 61 shillings. Now every 100 Kenyan shillings, 61 shillings went into the debt. The debt service is the inherited debt that he inherited. He didn't inherit an economy that was 100 booming, you know. I'm sorry. So we have paid Kenya's Eurobond debts of 2 billion Kenyan shillings, 2 billion Kenyan shillings, 350 incurred in 2014. So like to say they paid 350 shillings of the 2 billion on the euro bonds that was indebted, that Kenya was owing. I mean, euro bonds, you can understand it, but those are things that we can do it in spatial trainings for you to understand the economic landscape. Like I said yesterday, it's very important you organize, we understand facts and figures and graphs to be able to understand how these economies work. But now you see, without this, the Kenyan people never had a communication that told them exactly this is what this bill is for. And that's why we keep talking about communication. Very important. That's why Pan-African Daily TV is very, very important. It's very important because we take the situations, the information, and educate you, me, those novice, like I can say, people who don't have a clue. So we are not just going to be followers, but before we take any action, it should be pro action that is bringing a strategy. So if Kenyans didn't go out to ask, we would not have this breakdown about the economy. Okay? So they paid 350 Kenyan shillings, you know, onto Kenyan's Eurobonds that was indebted by $2 billion. I think Kenyan shillings or dollars. So today, Kenya's debt burden is much less, more sustainable, and we are on the course to redeem our country from the discomfort of debts and assets, and as such, our sovereignty. So you see, His Excellency is saying, regardless of what you see, but these are the hot pots that I've been sitting on with my government. These are the things that we've been trying to battle out. And so to be able to balance the debt situation, just like in any African country, I'm still going to bring you data and reports on the African countries, and you can see the huge amount of debts. So when you know the economic standpoint, that's when you can, Africans can really be conscious to start saying, no, but what if we do it like this? And that's when I think political education is very necessary. Political education is really going to engage the young people. When they mobilize in their numbers, they do understand what the economy is doing. And so that's the better way that we can work together, the citizens and their leadership, to build a strong and sovereign African state and nations. okay, by the people, for the people, and with the people. So we go to the next slide, and point 6 says, earlier this year, the Treasury had proposed a budget of Kenyan shillings 4.18 trillion, right? I directed that it be reduced by Kenyan shillings 200 billion to 300, I mean, 399 trillion. So out of the reduction, it came down, instead of 4.18, it came down to 399. I hope I'm correct, okay, in the way I analyze it. So the Finance Bill 2024 generated to actualize this budget underwent public participation, which resulted in concessions by which we agreed to drop the proposed imposition of the value-added tax on bread, motor vehicle circulation tax, on locally manufactured diapers and sanitary pads, as well as excise duty on money transfer services, among other concessions. All right. So from the Finance Bill 2024, they had to, and you know, it was now on 3.99 trillion dollars, or Kenyan shillings, I think. Kenyan shillings, I'm sorry. So they had a concession now to reduce, like he said, well, to actualize the budget underwent public participation, which resulted in concessions by which we agreed to drop the proposed imposition on VAT, that's value added tax on bread, circulation tax, locally manufactured diapers, and sanitary pads, as well as so we are beginning to think, I think, getting into this report, Kenyan's youth can actually do a good due diligence and report and research on it. Is the president taxing sanitary pads that are not made in Africa? That is why that's what I'm trying to feel here as of this statement. You know, when he said, you know, we had to drop down this value added tax on locally manufactured diapers and sanitary pads. So it could be that Kenyans are consuming exported products more than the local products. So it's just an economic strategy to tax the goods that are coming out that are non-made by Kenyans, so that Kenyans that are producing local diapers or sanitary pads or consumer goods could be able to thrive up from the economy. If that's the case, then that was a good deal. If that's not the case, then we need to go on the street more. Number 7, the additional tax measures we had proposed in this year's finance bill were for raising money to employ on a permanent basis all the 46,000 GSS interns. I still have to find out what GSS stands for. Interns, increase NGCDF by Kenyan shillings 10 billion, increase the allocation to county governments by Kenyan shillings 15 billion, and 14.5 billion for electrification, provide an additional 6 billion for UHC, paying debts owed to coffee, sugarcane farmers, and 2 billion to support the stabilization of milk prices, among other interventions. I will give you like a homework to actually, you know, go into these sectors, because if everything works well, like from the explanation, and I don't think the Constitution is lying or His Excellency is lying, these are all parliamentary documented bills that you have in your Constitution and in your country. And so the youth, they have a right to look at them and to clarify and get an open conversation on these topics. Number 8 say, I salute our members of parliament for supporting the proposal to incorporate the views of the public generated through the parliamentary public participation process. That's too complicated. I really cannot break that. Notwithstanding all these concessions, it became evident that members of the public were still insisting on the need for us to make more concessions. I am grateful to all members of the National Assembly who voted yesterday affirmatively for the Finance Bill 2024 as amended on the floor of the House to incorporate the views generated in the public participation process. So the bill has been amended as of yesterday due to the protest, due to the young people raising up and mobilizing themselves, due to the young people fixing, being a part of this government. You see, and honestly, they deserve a salary, Mr. President. I think it's not enough. It still has to go that, this mobilizers need compensations, particularly those that were hurt, the families that were hurt. Because of this, we can go ahead and reason together and come out with an agenda that is favorable for both so that peace can reign and people can go about living their lives. And you can lead and become the greatest leader, of your people, that whose legacy will not be pinpointed as the president who drove the Kenyans on the street and threw the military on them to kill them. So that is not the narrative we are changing on Pan African Daily TV. So number 10 says, following the passage of the bill, the country witnessed widespread expression of dissatisfaction with the bill as passed, regrettably resulting in the loss of life, destruction of property, and desecration of constitutional institution. Exactly, just what I said. Just what I said, like from both parties now. Now that I love Kenya for handshaking. I love your handshake strategy. It is clean, it is clear. Though, politics is what it is. I still think Kenyan youths are doing a very good thing. I send condolences to the families of those who lost their beloved ones in this unfortunate manner. Consequently, having reflected on the continuing conversation around the contents of the Finance Bill of 2024, I will decline to assent to the bill. Wonderful, Mr. President. I hope you could really make some other decisions that will be favorable as well, or that both parties could think together. That's what we call negotiation. And like I tell you, Africans have to know how to negotiate, not just negotiating international contracts, but local contracts. They have to be a part of the Constitution, the bills that are being passed. Like a youth said, Kenyans, we're proud of you. Don't be docile. Don't sleep on all these reforms. Wake up and make the change that Africa is seeing now. So number 13, oh, wait, sorry, to descend the bill. Number 11, accordingly, as I committed on Sunday, I propose an engagement with young people of our nation to listen to their issues and agree with them on their priorities, areas of concern. That should have been done, Mr. President, but no way. Anyway, you're not too late on this. I also propose that within the next 14 days, a multi-sectorial, multi-stakeholder engagement be held with a view to charting the way forward on matters relating to the content of the bill, as well as auxiliary issues raised in recent days on the need for austerity measures and strengthening our fight against corruption. You see, the political language is a kind of a jargon that you need to actually, just take it slow. You read it, not just reading it, but you have to understand it by heart. So as a matter of fact, because I got this bill and this PDF, I came live, but I still have to go and study it, and I can still bring some what I think about it, what we think we can do to make Kenya and Africa much better. Okay, us together, we fixing ourselves, the youth fixing their countries and their leadership, responding to that and saying, now we can sit and listen and talk to some people. Mr. President, you're not wrong, but we hope everybody's voice is going to be taken into consideration. Like, you're not going to be speaking to everybody, we do understand. And we on the Pan-African Daily are here to break down whatever you are doing for free. We're not even charging you on that. So I wish I would have a one-on-one conversation with the president of Kenya on this, so I can ask some direct questions to be able to understand these policies and break it down exactly to the African people. Okay? So in this regard, I direct immediate further austerity measures to reduce expenditures, starting with the executive office of the president. I love that. I salute that. This is what I had. The only model that I see like this was under the legacy and the presidency of former president of Tanzania, Magufuli. Okay, His Excellency Magufuli. So we are beginning to see that kind of inward thinking. And thanks to the youth of Kenya, thanks to the youth of Kenya, things would change for the better good of the citizens and the leadership and the economy of Kenya. I'm so proud of that. In this regard, like you said, expenditure starting with the executive office of the president and extending to the entire executive arm of the government. So please, the executive of the parliament, and you should be the ones actually to reflect on what are the kind of necessities we don't need to, because at a certain extent, some people will have to cut down to raise money to be able to finance debts and then to grow the economy. So I direct that operational expenditure in the presidency to be reduced to remove allocations for the confidential vote, reduce travel budget, hospitality and purchase of motor vehicles, renovations and other expenditures. Salute. I propose that equally, Parliament, the judiciary, and county government working with the National Treasury also undertake budget cuts and austerity to ensure that we do what I have always advocated for, that we live within our means. Okay? As we hold this important conversation, I remind us that we should proceed within the foundational principles upon which our nation is founded, namely constitutionalism, adherence to the rule of law, and respect for constitutional institution. Thank you. So yes, that was the agenda 2024 for the Kenya we want by His Excellency, the President of Kenya, after the masses of Kenyans went onto the street to say enough is enough. We cannot take this anymore. Yeah. And out of this protest, I mean, you saw lives were lost, like I said before, and His Excellency actually do apologize for those lives. But honestly, in a level of our education and our status quo, we don't need to kill people on the street, or the youth don't need to go on the street for them to be able to remind us to take our responsibility or to even think. But I think I love this new energy, which is bringing the leadership and the youth and the people on the table to enhance responsibility and and accountability, like we said in Agenda 2063. So just going out and sponsoring, I mean, the questions Africans are asking is like, what about the budget increase to evacuate troops, the Kenyan troops to Haiti? Is that budget free, or that was not constitutional, or is that part of the finance bill? Okay, so let us see what is going to happen on that, because upon everything that we saw as cutting the prices for the bill that was imposed or that was brought, we did not see anything about the issue of Haiti and the police. I think the Kenyan government will still have to address these concerns that are very, very, that is causing some kind of misunderstanding or miscommunication. So educate us a lot about your policies. We are here to receive, we are here to analyze them, we are here to bring our voices and to add in fixing our countries, as stakeholders of the continent. So you have seen it. I'm just going to flip a few comments that I have here in the chat, and I want to thank all of you that actually came out to, yes, of course, to listen to this broadcast. I'll just start by, I already ended this one. Our brother Leped there says, but he was deputy president of the previous administration. He was part of the problems for the past 10 years. Okay, so you cannot justify your overtaxing or your finance bill by saying, you see, I inherited the problems. like the brother is saying. You were part of that. You were deputy president of the previous administration. So when you were putting those bills, what were you thinking about, Mr. President? Okay. So that's the comment coming out there. Master MD says, well, I would consider this a fake statement. Don't even waste time to read that nonsense. There is no justification for killing people. That statement is just a waste of time. Thank you so much. Adding your voices, adding your thoughts, your comments. Everybody on Pan African Daily, as an African, you have a right to share your opinion and your thoughts with each other. Thank you, David Bertrand, for greeting. Thank you. And goodbye, I'm out because we went to read the bill. And Mr. David, like, I'm out. I cannot be. More than half members of the parliament voted to support corrupt bill. We now know Ruto has high court judges in his pocket. That's a dictation. That's dictatorship 100%. Okay, so like you coming out now to just give us some 15 points of what you think would, but that's not what we're seeing, because the people that voted were actually the people that should have thought about it. Should the young people not have gone to the street, you will not be able to make that statement publicly now. Okay, so yes, Denise is saying lose all their names, brands, both on your body and your land, especially Africa. Let us call it or name it Ubuntu Nation. Thank you very much for your comment. Washira says, great idea, but most African governments who are puppets of the slave master cannot do this. That's so true. I do agree as well. It's not every government that would even take the pride to come, sit down, list out, even if they're not, even if they're just stories. We actually conceded. We consider it's a conceded victory for the youth of Africa. The president backs down. Okay. So yeah. So debt avoidance is a must. That one we know, because for Africa's heavy debt that keeps allowing the partners of these debts to impose some kind of conditions, and you will see most of them say, my hands are tied. I don't know how to negotiate this kind of debt. So the only thing I can do is exchange of service, maybe. Okay, send me your 1,000 police or 100 police there, and we reduce your budget debt of this and this and this. We don't know. But like our brother is saying, a debt reduction is actually a must, and even avoiding. Why should a rich nation, a country like you, be having debts? What is going on with always? Did we sell at cheap prices? At what prices? Were our market so down that we could not negotiate these deals? That's what the Africans is talking about. And I think at some point, yes. Thank you, Cheryl. Oh my God, did I wake you up from the sleep? I'm so sorry. I was just doing this so that people who wake up could, follow up. Like I said, it's rainy, cats and dogs out here. I'm not sure we're going to be internet connected in the evening. It's important. Our brother Himotep Peru says, it's important we know innocent Kenyans killed by corrupt police. Their lives matter more than all millions lost. Yes. Yes. I mean, people die every day. That's a fact. Okay. People are sick, they die. People traveling, they die. But the death that has been provoked because of police brutality, that is what is unpardonable. I think that's what Imhotep is saying here. We're all gonna die. That's a fact. But if I'm dead just because I'm putting out my voice there for my constitutional right, and you kill me because of that, that's unpardonable. That's unpardonable. So it is a matter of how the choices we make and how we actually stand to them. Thank you, Mr. Master MD. At least you did not leave, like you said. There is nothing to celebrate in these people. Had to sacrifice their lives. People are dead. That U.S. puppet should be ashamed of himself. Thank you for your comment. Like, what are we celebrating? People lost their lives actually for making you to wake up to now reason to pass a bill or to concede. Of course, but we do thank you. More lives could still have been could still have been lost if I don't know whether the protests that are planned next week, Tuesday, and the others are still going to take place after this statement. We'll just wait to hear from the Kenyans themselves what is going on. So thank you for all. Yeah, HRK says Ruto has shown his true colors. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you for sharing, Marshall. CAS, thank you. Okay, CNS says Ruto is a master of double speak. So, like Mr. President, whatever you're writing and listing here, we know that you speak well, you articulate well. You double speak means you can talk to the devil and talk to the angel at the same time, and all of them are going to buy into your story, as a matter of fact. Okay. Thank you, Cheryl. Blessings. Our ancestors left a blueprint while we're following the oppressors. We have choices. Thank you very much. Thank you. Mr. Smith says, it is amazing how Ruto now sounds like an American-made politician. The same defensiveness and acting like people cannot see what is happening. Like in the beginning, these were things that, like I said, Kenyans went on the street to mobilize and support, and everybody was like, yeah, we are on it. This is our president. This is what we want. And just a matter of time, Carmen King, thank you. It's been a while. Yes, it's really been a while, my darling. What is the purpose of raising tax to bill? Good question, Cheryl. What is the purpose of raising tax to bill? Okay. Marshall Lawrence is saying the balance between protesters' right to protest peacefully and security's right to protect life and property needs patience and ongoing communication to get the best results for all. Thank you very much. Thank you. It's okay. There is an issue here in the US police shooting. IT has to stop. I think we need a lot of communication between the stakeholders, between the partners. I mean, and this is truly, really, really difficult. Thank you, Mr. Wayne. Thank you. Yeah, thank you. I would take money from a pimp either. Okay. I wouldn't take money from a pimp either. That's right. Of course. That's very true. Like we said, we all know it. He who funds you owns you. And so when they fund you, they dictate, like the piper playing the tone that you need to dance to. So African governments need to wake up, know how to make their policies, how to bargain their currencies that they're bringing up with gold and diamond and silver and everything that they has. If you look at other world's currency, I don't know what is backed up by their know-how, their technology, their intelligence. So I don't know, their brands. Yeah, that's what is backing up the economy of the West. Their infrastructural development, their competence and skills and education. This is actually what is backing up those powerful economies. But you, apart from getting all these other things, natural resources you have, young growing population you have, your GDP keeps escalating, you have good weather. Of course, we're facing climate changes all over the world, but what is stopping you? What are you raising funds for? So you cannot sell. You cannot sell at the world price and get it back. What is going on? So Mr. Wayne said President Ruto wants to be Barack Obama so badly. Just listen to him and watch his body language. Oh my God. I don't okay. This sounds like you mean to say it's like it's a Kenyan thing. Like it's a Kenyan thing. And mind you, former President Barack Obama is a Kenyan. You know that. I mean, partly Kenyan by birth. So So are you trying to say it's a Kenyan thing? No, but we heard the voices of big celebrities, Kenyan celebrities like Lupito Nyong'o, who actually said, I clap to you, all the Kenyan youth, for taking such a decision. Stand up for your government. We also had even Africans in the that are non Kenyans actually advocating and thanking Kenyans and congratulating them. Voices from America saying, oh my God, Kenyans, we are so proud of you. Do not take anything for an answer. Go out and protect your constitution and actually protect your rights and speak out how you want your country to be. So yes. Okay. Mm-hmm. So Sister Penny Cheryl is saying, yes, but raising taxes for what? To build infrastructure, create jobs. What is the purpose of the protest? Protesters protesting if government not clear other than raising taxes. Okay. Yes, the purpose, as we have seen, and the declarations, even lives are lost now. The purpose is just we need you to increase a price on sanitary pad because that's the biggest resources. That's the biggest GDP of the economy of Africa is backed by women and youth. Who eats bread more? Who are the ones that shop? These kind of products that they put tax on it. But the president is justifying it by saying, oh, we had inherited this bad system, which he was a part, and somehow to fix it, I need to bring my own strategy. Okay. So I want to thank all of you. It's been an interesting conversation, and just to understand what our countries are. I love and I congratulate the fact that the people have risen, they have spoken, they have shared their opinion. The young people have gone to the street, but it's so it's so, how do I want to say, so unheard when we lost lives in things that could have been solved. Well, we can come and cry all the tears here and ask all the condolences and even pay reparation for those lives lost. You never would bring them back. So the questions Africans are asking, must it take lives on the street for people that have to use the iron fist before some of these presidents or these leaders will come down from their high positions to think? Okay, that's why we said politics is a game, not just a game, it is an exercise of both. Yes, though we vote you in office, we still have a right to correct you. Though we vote you in office, some other countries have the kind of politics like, now we voted the leader, whatever thing the leader is doing is good. Definitely, members of his party or members of his government would see that alike. But the contrary is even in that system, in their constitutional rights, people are saying, no, let's look at this. Now it's going to get crazy. Now your image, you just barely 20 months in the office. Now, what are they going to say? So we hope these laws and these points that the government of Kenya has put down are things that could be reasonable. The youth will look into it. They would assess it. They would also do their checks on it to understand the political system. How much debt is the Kenyan government owing, and for what, and how, for how long? How are we going to cover our debts? That's always the question. How are we going to pay our debts? So I think this is an exercise that has to be of political interest and political education to the people of Kenya, not just Kenyans, but also to Africa entirely. Because most of the time, really, we are politically ignorant about how our systems operate, about why they take credit, about what is the inability for them to trade their natural resources, and most governments don't explain why we need more roads that why do we need Chinese engineers than Kenyan engineers? Why are we spending a lot of high budgets, on logistics, on traveling? Could we do now it's digital, and we see even this country is one of the president that is lobbying for a lot of content creators and digital opportunities for young Kenyans. Okay, but now during this protest, everybody was just like, okay, so you did that, you had to, you have to settle for that deal so that Kenyans, instead of making or thinking or creating money through that, should be into the lobby about work of praising the Kenyan president, right? So, but we have seen the pro and contra, and on the Pan-African Daily, we only share the information according to your thoughts, according to what you think, according to what we think. We listen to the public, we listen to our youth on the continent. We also try to understand the government in their undertakings, and where we don't find it necessary is it shouldn't have taken the people on the street and life loss to come to these 15 points, Mr. President. Okay, so we're giving a big up to you guys out there. Continue to keep it. We don't want no more lives again on any place on the continent of Africa. No more lives lost. No more lives lost. The young people need opportunities. They're hustling for their lives. They're struggling as much as they can. Let us not make it worse. Of course, we love our leaders. Okay, we do. So, Mr. Mike is saying raises visa prices on Europeans who keep coming to Africa for their vacations. Think that should also be a point, and that I don't even think is a point that we have to talk about. It has to be the point. Yeah. So, yeah, the police across the world are just trying to kill, not to heal. Thank you for that comment. Yeah, very brave youths. I do also say that, and no matter what was going on, they are not looking at stopping. Yeah, that's why I'm still waiting to see after this this press release and the points that His Excellency has noted down. What is going to be the reaction on the Kenyan youth? This is one part of the solution that we have sent from the government, and the next part would be to get our youth tell us exactly how they feel about this. Is this okay? Is everything okay? Can everybody go to work? And yeah, the bills that are dropped, and check if those expenses also are cut exactly as the president is saying. That is also still be like fixing the country and helping to keep our government to step up. So I want to thank all of you that watched this, and you can share, you can comment, you can like, so that we begin to educate ourselves on what is happening on the ground in Africa and Africans around the world. That's what Pan African Daily TV is all about. But we're going to pass into other sessions of creating our academy where we do professional trainings on politics and country specific on how to read data, on how to process it and how to understand what is economics, what is politics, what is culture, and what is development. Okay, how to understand international relationships. How do they understand each other? When they say our international relationship, some jargons, I can tell you, I call it jargons. If it is not in Swahili, people will not even understand what this is all about. So politics should be taught. It should also be a topic in of course they do it, but like doing political science and laws and stuff like. But we're breaking it from the Afrocentric point of view that even my mother can understand what politics is all about. My mom is aging, she's 85. And I teach her what it means economy, what it means the world, what it means countries in the world, how do they function. All right. So we need to teach ourselves because we are renaissance, we are rebirthing. And rebirthing means we're creating new versions of ourselves, of our communication, of everything you know so getting a political institution that teaches us those small keywords. I'm telling you, if Kenyans, what we have seen the Kenyan youth do, if they get a little bit of information and education on how the system works and stuff, oh my god, I think we'll be seeing protests every day. We'll be seeing protests every day. And some people just don't care about that. But I think you're just like Professor James Small, just like Dr. Jeffries always says, understand the politics, the economics, and the culture equals to freedom. Politics, economics, culture, these three equals to the freedom you want. And if you don't understand how politics work, you don't understand the dimensions, the structures, the key words. What does it mean, diplomacy, right? What does it mean that? It means a lot. Communication in politics. What does it mean, even the body language? Even the body language of a politician. Just like I heard my brother say, a president of Kenya is more and more acting like former president of America, Barack Obama. You can see it in his body language because it's a whole communication. Whether someone is lying or not, or they're making up, or they're manipulating, or they're sweet talking. You can understand, or they're double talking. You really can understand just by looking at this person. and how he acts and talks. So it is, we have to work, and our work is education. Education in everything. Now, the most part we say, oh, the presidents are like, they travel a lot. But we have to understand the politics of traveling. Traveling is a whole lot of education. It's not just travel. I book my ticket, I go to this country, and I stay here, and I do my things, and I come back. You have to first of all understand what is the business behind traveling, and why did traveling even come as an invention, and why is it one of the biggest economic factors, culturally, politically. So understanding and breaking down the systems, and particularly politics, is the tool now that determines everything. You can use politics to determine your economy and even your culture. When we talk about culture, you look at the African culture, you look like in most constitution, where is it that they actually put the culture in the first place? Make it a priority on their constitution to promote the values. Of course, I really love that point when he said, they had to get to a concession to be able to deduct the taxes on sanitary parts that are locally produced. So promoting local brands could mean that. But how would the common African understand? So that's our point. Pan African Daily is not like, I see a lot of people talking media, media, media. Yes, because we say TV doesn't mean we're just reading and news. No, we analyze it, we educate ourselves on all the systems now that we are rebirthing. We are renaissance. We are we need to understand how these countries operate, what are the kind of dynamics they use in trade, what does it mean diplomacy, what does it mean when they said, oh, his Ruto is on a diplomatic mission to United States. What does that mean? Diplomacy is a language that we have to educate each other. We have to teach you what are the ethics of it. Because until we understand, like I tell you, we understand a lot. We'll wake up to the Constitution a lot of times, and if this will bring change, that is good. That's so super good. Okay? So we have to understand the dynamics in interpersonal communication. Interpersonal communication is as simple as, who is this person that I'm dealing with? How is he like in terms of character, in terms of his value? So if I sit in front of somebody and I'm negotiating, I should be able to understand the body language, the sitting position, the handshakes, even from the clothes, even from how the person I get into his office he sits can tell me already how I can negotiate with that individual. And this is so important, right? But these are professional courses that we only do at the level of the academy for those that are interested. This is not knowledge that is dished for free, because these are high core trainings that only those that are interested in politics, or those that are already in it, or companies, or even governments that are still struggling to understand these things. Okay, so yeah, um yes, of course, it depends. It depends. Everything has to do with how we analyze from which point of view. People choose however they want to interpret. The other day I said the most difficult thing that happens is working with people. And that's why when we talk about interpersonal relationship, we talk about connections, we talk about how to analyze situations, how to know even people. It starts from, just like I said, even from their looks. You can analyze somebody, but it depends now on how you look at it that you analyze that person. But on the general context, human beings act, live, talk, react the way they feel and the way they want it. And whether your opinion or my opinion will not stop it. So what do? I support somebody at the point of his need in the way that person is. I think education is not teaching you to become me. Education is actually not educating somebody to not be that person. Education is supporting that person in their needs for them to be what they want to be. And for me, that's democracy. For me, that is whatever we understand as freedom. I don't want to educate you on politics because I want you to be what I want you to be. No. But if I see that you are politically affiliated and you love, being this type of a person, and I think that you can need me to support you on that, I will do it. I don't care about how you look. I don't care about what you do. But like I said, interpersonal communication, I can really see. I can understand that this person like this. But going personally to judges how you look or this and that, that's not my business. That's not my mission here. People like to feel the way they want to do. Let them do it. In as much as you're not abusing somebody with what you do, then we are not having this conversation on Pan African Daily. On Pan African Daily, we don't come to talk about how people live their lives, but we talk about the systems that are oppressing ourselves and the ignorance of us not knowing these systems. That is what makes the difference. So I think we're all good in that. And Mr. Kaved is saying, trust no one. Of course. Yeah, we know. We know. Depending, people are reborn into a lot of things. People are reborn into character. People are reborn into the way they look. People are reborn into a communication pattern. And everything depends on your goals, on your mission, on who you are and how you want and your objectives in life. There's no one way street that is going to solve all the problems, just like there's no single answer to all the questions that everybody wants, you know. So the renaissance of Africa is not a point to punch. Even if the presidents and the leaders are making a mistake, everybody would have to get that challenge. I told you on the last lecture with Agenda 2063, be that president and you understand that. All right. So sometimes leadership is also a very huge responsibility that people are taking. And us at the part to us at the Pan African Daily, we share the opinions. Of course, we're not here to say, Mr. President, you have to step down. But if the Kenyan people say, hey, Mr. President, you have to step down, my job is to announce that the Kenyan people and Africans are thinking, you need to step down. You need to, because the voices of the people have said so. So I think we are today on Kenya, and one good news before I leave us here right now is while Kenya is, I mean, really mourning the loss of their people, we also saw, Nigerians that are jubilating and celebrating because of the marriage, which they call the millennium marriage of Afrobeat singer Davido, known by the name Davido, who got married to his pretty young, the person she calls my sister. She doesn't even call it her wife. She calls my sister. And they got married, a very beautiful marriage that has been shaking the social media space. I mean, that's also still on the, Pan-African news and stuff. That why we talk about the things that actually are trending on the continent. This marriage has been trending. We see, African American artists that he's collaborated with them, like Chris Brown, put out a show out there. We've seen DJ Khaled, fly out to be a DJ at that marriage, and so everything was just the way it is. And I think it is very, very okay to celebrate and to celebrate with the celebrants too. So we say big up to Nigeria for that good news. I mean, for keeping Africans really busy this weekend. They were tweeting, they were texting, and the social media bloggers flew in from all African countries, to be a part of this marriage. So on that part, we think celebration, celebrating ourselves and talking, bringing this kind of vibes is actually what Africans need. African children need to grow up to see role models and elders that are happy with themselves, that, and of course, living a civilized life than just killing people on the streets for standing out for their rights. That's not the Africa we want. Mali, Burkina Faso, like most of you are saying, have already paved that way. They've showed us through the young leadership. Senegal is also on the way. So let's see what is going to come from East Africa and the rest of the continent. So I wish you a nice day. And as we continue to monitor what is happening on the continent, I kindly thank you for spending your time. All your comments are valuable. They're a lesson, they're a ticket to all of us. But like I said, what binds us and unites us and connect us is not who I want you to be. It's how I want to contribute to make you a better person on your own mission, what you choose to be. So we celebrate ourselves and we celebrate each other and we celebrate Kenya as well. Thank you so very much. Tomorrow, we're going to have the voice of a young Kenya that will tell us about what they feel and how they look at it, how they see their country, and how they want to, how they've analyzed this situation, if it's okay. And this young Kenyan is no other person than Amos Onyango, who actually was here. He was the first one that broke out the news to us. He has been also, even in this deadly town where they were shooting, he could not even drive back home. You know, they were just hiding on the tires, like he said. It was a terrible experience, and we would like to get him live on the show tomorrow to share his experience with us, because he was right there on the ground to tell us what they think of the bill, to tell us what they think about, to just explain what happened, and then also to tell us what they think about the statement from the president, if everything is going to be okay. All right. So we see ourselves tomorrow. Tomorrow we're going to do the broadcast in the evenings as usual, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard, and I think 7 p.m. and 5 p.m. Ghana. Ghana's youth is also coming up live. I think today they'll be coming out live on the competition, on the quiz, later on our normal streaming times, and that should be 8 p.m. out here, and that's going to be in Ghana time too. So we'll be having the youth of the PLO Lumumba Mentee Foundation come up again to tell us about the way forward and their quiz. So join me again later as we host these young people listening to the positive vibes that is coming up, from our people, in Ghana. So I'm also thanking you who joined out to celebrate the Juneteenth in Ghana. That was very good. And we're still sharing a lot of videos are coming up now, more and more popular videos about the Juneteenth celebration on the continent of Africa for the first time, and in Ghana. We're looking forward to the next countries that are going to be celebrating Juneteenth and all our celebration days coming up on Pan-African Daily TV. So thank you so very much. I wish you a nice time. We'll see us later. Bye.
You are watching the Pan-African Daily TV with Dr. Susan Tata. The Africa we want: unity, consciousness, our culture, our spirituality, our history. One Africa for Africans worldwide. Motherland's calling its diaspora home. Join my voice. Join my team. Join my campaign. Campaign 21 hashtag 1 million subscribers on the Pan-African Daily TV YouTube. Be a volunteer. Apply now. Be the new Africa.